Lady D Denise Gomez, and I have exciting interview segments and features inside the zone. For recording artists, you can sing? Well, Inside the Zone, second Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. is for you. Writers, share your story, no man, in From the Author Zone on third Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. Male Zone has unbelievably juicy stories of love, heartbreak, and triumph. 7 p.m. has never been this good. On Mondays, it's news, talk, engaging features at 7 in the Monday Drive. And Center Stage has everyone talking on Thursdays. Be a part of the show. Email me insidethezone@gmail.com or call me 914-304-2592.
I got a mortgage customized to fit me.
Same day pre-approval on my loan. Wow!
Lower mortgage payments, so I have money to do more of the things that matter.
Happiness is owning my own crib.
Take advantage of our same-day mortgage pre-approval plus customized financing of up to 100% and enjoy low monthly payments. Happiness is home. Own it with BMBS.
Saturday morning runnings topic: business partner wranglings. There are some business owners in the business world who are on top of their game. Some have entered very rewarding business relationships, while others not so much. Problems arise, and partners are disgruntled and greedy, and devise plans to sabotage the business, resulting in legal wranglings. Business partners take each other to court. A Saturday morning runnings. Come, make we talk.
Good morning. It's another Saturday, and we have dubbed it Saturday Morning Runnings. I'm your host and producer, Lady D Denise Gomez. Good morning to you. Saturday Morning Runnings is aired on Saturdays at 10 a.m. And of course, I host a twice weekly radio program called Inside the Zone. On Mondays, it's 5 to 7 p.m. with the Monday Drive, and Thursdays, 6 to 8 p.m. with Center Stage, right here in Mount Vernon, New York. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to my YouTube channel, Inside the Zone with Lady D Denise Gomez. This morning, my guests are with me. Well, family and family. All three are family. What am I saying? Family all round. We do have our attorney on board this morning, Ricky Davis. Rick out of Yard, Jamaica, West Indies. And I'm just loving the fan in the ceiling.
Lady D, you're not good.
Morning, Rick.
I'm jealous, she's jealous, Ricky.
Ricky, please unmute.
The fun is to hypnotize. Morning, Denise. How are you?
If I look long enough.
The fun is to cool down the attorney. Attorney life get hot, you know. It's an attorney life, I easy life. It's getting hot.
I tell you, cool. Man. So a pleasant morning. So again, morning, Rick. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Jax, you're muted. How you do?
How did I just muted because I was moving around a little bit. So
yes. How was your week? How was the week for everyone?
Hectic.
No.
Exam week. Still going. Have another exam next week, and the poor brain feel tired.
Hush. Just consider the long term.
Oh my gosh.
Results. At the end.
You'll make it, darling.
I'm getting anxiety. I don't usually get that way, and I'm getting
Yeah.
anxiety. Like I wake up thinking about, oh my God, did I choose that answer on the exam? I don't think so. Oh my God, this is
Oh
the right one.
Lord, I
Why did I choose
understand.
that? That kind of stuff.
I understand. Hush, we're there with you. Max,
And it's
what you say
okay.
now?
It's okay and it's normal. I was
Mm,
saying to Jackie that it's okay and it's normal to get
Oh,
anxious. It's we're humans first. Don't forget
that's
oh
that.
my
true.
But
goodness.
That
do
is
your
true.
best, pray and leave the rest. My
And
week
you
was
had a
good.
good
I
week?
can't complain. It's a blessing. Yes, it
Nice.
was
And
wonderful.
Rick, how was your week? Rick, you're muted.
Oh, he's muted.
It's muted.
It was a short week because Monday was a holiday here,
Mm-hmm.
Easter Monday,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and it was good. It was good. I'm preparing my well. When you introduce me properly, I'll give you a little background on myself, and then I can
Mm-hmm.
talk a
Yes.
little bit more about
That's all right. That's fine. So, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you. We know that it's a very busy morning because right now there are a lot of people who I know, and I was a part of that church body, Church of God of Prophecy. So, we've all been watching the convention virtually. And so, people are all over the place. And so this morning, here we are wanting to just say, hey, are you a business owner? You have that entrepreneurial streak. You started your business and it's going well. Then you said, sure, maybe I should partner with somebody because I need help. I need to broaden my platform a little more. And it start off good. You all build a structure, things are going fine, and then something happens, a spoken word, a deed, something was done, and it has broken the relationship. You even find yourself having to sue either your friend who
Oh
partnered with
Jesus.
you in business, or you had to sue the person who partnered with you. It's one of those things. And so it can be a very complicated
Mm-hmm.
situation if people are not clear in their intentions, why they intend to partner with you. What is your objective for including them? Wanting to include them in the first place? Is it because you simply saw that they have the potential for something that that they do well? There's something they master well. Or you say to yourself, well, I need to build the brand and be able to have employees, meet other people's needs financially. It's so many variables involved. It has worked over the years for many people, and for many, it has not worked. And so we thought that in order for us to bring the conversation into a, a pragmatic sense and bring perspective and information, we should not just have this conversation, on our own. But if we're talking about legal wranglings, then the presence of the legal mind is important. And I invite Ricky to introduce himself at this time, and we can start the conversation. Bearing in mind, ladies and gentlemen, the show is sponsored by the VM Group, Natasha Service, and her team in Brooklyn. And so we want to extend a very special thank you to them. At 10:30, Natasha will be calling in for a 5-minute product and services segment. And so we will break at that time when she joins us and resume regular programming. So, Rick, in a synopsis, just introduce yourself and your objectives this morning, because we all need to walk away with some information that we have to say, hey, I need to rethink.
Okay, morning again, everyone. I hope I will be able to help in some way, or at least
Morning.
get you to think about, or your listeners, to get you to think about some things. If you decide to go into business. Well, my name is Ricky Davis. I'm an attorney, 25 years at the bar in Jamaica. I spent 12 years in the BVI. My specialty is commercial law, company law, business, business interests, mergers, that sort of thing. Currently, because of the position that I hold, I'm the CEO of a government agency, Jamaica International Financial Services Authority. And our mandate is to create new types of vehicles to do business in Jamaica, different types of companies, different types of arrangements. Because of that, I'm not in private practice anymore, but the issue of company law and that sort of thing is right up my alley. So when Lady D asked me to assist, I'm very happy to do so, bearing in mind that what I'm going to be speaking for the most part in generalities, because I understand that you have a mixed audience. Some persons are probably in the US, some probably in Canada, some in the UK, some in Jamaica. And there are nuances with the law in each jurisdiction, but there are certain basic things that I think I can assist with and, give you food for thought with.
Yes, thank you so much. Would like to acknowledge our audience at this time. So we do have, and by the way, just to let you know, Jen and Sherns will not be joining us this morning, but we know that they will be watching us on the side through that little one eye kind of thing. So we do miss them, but
yes,
they'll be back next week. So good morning. So Charles E would like to say hello to Charles E. At this time, she's in Barbados. Her adopted mom passed, and so she's there to attend the funeral. Andrea says good morning to us, and yes, who else is here now? Okay. So we want to say good morning to those of you. Good morning, Vero. How are you? Nice to see you. Welcome. All righty. So business partnerships, wranglings. Ricky, I decided to have a business, and I'm also thinking of expanding the business. So I'm speaking in general terms here now. And I want to partner with someone. What should I consider first? What are the things that I should consider first? What should we consider first?
All right. From a basic starting at ground zero, it is going to be important what type of business you want to do and what kind of partnership you want to have. And by that, I mean, as I said, there are various ways to get into it. You could have an informal partnership where you're doing business as, so there's no real formal structure to it. You could have a formal partnership, or you could go into business as a company. Now, each of those three aspects represent different things. So if me and you want to just do a business, let us say open a shop and call it DNR, Denise and Ricky. And we understand that we pool our resources, buy stock and so on, but there's nothing formal. We can do that. So it's Ricky and Denise doing business as DNR. Now, in that scenario, it's both of you are most likely in most jurisdictions will have unlimited liability. So whatever debts that are accrued by that relationship, by that business, you both would be personally responsible for it. Now, depending on the scope, that might work. That might work for you, because for some people it works. But even if you're going to do that, I would suggest that you cannot go wrong with putting something in writing. At every step of the way, writing is important. And writing is important because you want to memorialize the relationship. You want to memorialize how certain things are to be done, who's responsible for this or who's responsible for that. So even though it's an informal arrangement in that you're not registered as a registered company, it would behoove you to have some kind of agreement. And the agreement is going to suggest to you how you want the business to be run and who's responsible for what. So some of the things you may want to put into that is who's contributing capital, how much. Do the parties have special responsibilities? For example, the building that you're going to use, does one of you own it? Do both of you own it? You know, that sort of thing. How you're going to deal with it? Are you going to be, is the business going to pay rent, or is the building going to be considered your contribution to the relationship? So those are some of the things that you would want to consider in that kind of informal relationship. Now, if you want to formalize it, again, there are a couple of ways you could go about it. One is to enter into a proper partnership with a partnership agreement, and that would include a lot of the things that I had mentioned before. You know, who does what, capital, if the business split up, how is it going to be split up 50-50, so on and so forth. And with any agreement, any contract whatsoever, I would suggest that you put in a couple of clauses inside there that will make things easier in the event that, you know, you decide to go your separate ways. One of the things I'd put in there is what they call a jurisdiction clause. Where are you operating the business, and which laws are going to govern it? Now, it would make sense both here in New York, laws of the state of New York will, you know. But if, for example, you may have let us say, Lady D, you're in New York, and you have your friend or whatever in Jamaica, who you want to help to do a business, that sort of thing, then again, you may want to consider which jurisdiction you may want to use, and it's largely a matter of convenience. So, for example, if the business is taking place in Jamaica, it would make sense that the laws of Jamaica apply, because it probably would be most convenient. Another clause that I would have in there is some kind of an arbitration clause or alternate dispute resolution clause, meaning you set inside there a way that you would want to see the matter resolved without going to court. You know, mediation, arbitration. And thirdly, and important, is what they call the divorce clause, the split up clause. In the event that this doesn't work out and we decide to do it, this is how we're going to allocate the assets and liabilities of the venture. So that's with the partnership. And then the third thing is a company, different types of companies. Now, for a lot of people, the company is perhaps, well, certainly 7 or 8 times out of 10, I would recommend a company. And I will tell you the reasons why I would recommend a company. One, the company limits the liabilities of the parties. In other words, you wouldn't be personally responsible for the debts of the company, generally speaking. 2, if you're going to be seeking financing, it certainly for financial institutions, it looks better to them that you have something, as in a company, which is considered to have a value to begin with. So the company will issue shares or share warrants or whatever it is, and that can be used as collateral to access financing. Even with what they call MSMEs here, micro, small, and medium-sized businesses. In fact, here in Jamaica, over the last couple of years, a lot of emphasis has been placed on MSMEs and access to capital. They've been trying to make it easier to access capital and one of the reasons for that is globally, when the reporting agencies look at Jamaica as a place to do business, there's certain indices that they use. And one of them is the ease of doing business. And in determining the ease of doing business, they look at a lot of things. And one of the things they look at is how easy is it to get financing, especially for small businesses.
Before you go any further, Ricky, can I ask?
A lot of emphasis has been placed on that.
Can I ask?
And of course,
Ricky, hold on a moment.
Sure.
Jackie wants to ask you something.
I just want to see if I'm understanding the whole setup of the initial business. So what I'm understanding from what you said is the business itself is going to operate as its separate entity. So even though you may start the business itself is going to be its own entity. So you would not be liable.
That's if you decide to incorporate it, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If you decide to incorporate it, then there's a separation, what they call a corporate veil, meaning the business it's a legal person in and of itself. You can open a bank account in the business name. The business can enter into an agreement, a contract, that sort of thing.
Gotcha.
So unless you perhaps, in order to facilitate having the business get access to financing for capital, you decide to stand as a guarantor or something of the sort, but that would put you in a different standing where the business and the certainly some of the liabilities of the business concerned.
Okay.
Oh, very, very vital information you're giving to us this morning, Rick. And, for those of us who are from the Caribbean, a lot of us have entered into businesses, whether it was a shop, whether it was a church, whether it was your tailor, because, you're employing people, you're partnering with people. A lot of people were just kind of, say, come man, somebody say, want me to sign anything? Then say, come, know you long time.
Yeah, it's a kind of informal thing.
Thing, which came back to bite them. Relationships. And it was so bad. So, we know how that can. Natasha. Morning, Natasha. Mute a little bit. We can hear your baby.
Oh, I didn't even know it was live. All right.
Yeah. Okay, I brought you in. So just mute. Okay. Right. And so we know how that works.
Right. Yeah.
In whether town or country, we have seen it to the point where it causes a disruption in the relationship. It spreads across to the family and impacts the community.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. So certainly, Lady D, that's a very good point. And you shouldn't, as a rule, just decide lightly to go into business with somebody. You, whether family or friend, it's something that you should really think about. And from a very practical point of view, although people don't want to consider this, at the same time that you're thinking about getting into the business, you should also be thinking about how you get out.
Absolutely. Because what I want to say is
not that you're calling down crosses on yourself.
No.
But it's something that needs to be approached in a measured way. And when you have informal relationships and family, it can get tricky. if you say to somebody, all right, let's put this in writing. I need to put nothing in writing. It's me and you, and we know each other a long time and so on. That's probably, that could be the best way to kill that relationship should anything go wrong. And also, it's perhaps less of an issue today as it was long ago, but it still persists, especially in more rural settings. There is a possibility that one or both parties may not be that literate.
All that too.
Yes, that too.
And my mother, God rest her soul, will be with me forever and ever. There are many a time people would come to her where she would have to read the agreement for them, or if there is an agreement, or she would help to write an agreement, for persons. So the minute you're getting into it, you should be thinking about getting out of it. And I'll tell you a joke that somebody told me. It's a joke, but it's a serious joke. And it took place in New York. So the teacher at a public school said that she will give $100 to the student who can tell her who was the greatest man to ever walk the face of the earth. So it's a mix, it's a school and mix. So the little Italian American boy put up his hand, and she said yes. And he said it was St. Francis of Assisi. The teacher said St. Francis was a very good man, he's a saint and everything, but no, it's not St. Francis. So the little Irish boy put up his hand, and she said yes. And he said, it's St. Patrick. Teacher said, yes, St. Patrick also was a very, very good man, a holy man, and so, but it's not St. Patrick. The little Jewish boy put up his hand, and she said yes. And he said, Jesus Christ. And the teacher said, yes, that's correct. But I'm surprised that you said Jesus Christ because you're Jewish. And he said, teacher, in my heart I know is Moses, but business is business.
Ricky come from penance. Forgive him.
Ricky,
right. Lord,
so but I say that to say business is business.
Yes,
if you decide to go into that you're going to be doing business, you must approach it in a more dispassionate way. In thinking about the business.
So just hold on one second, Max. Natasha, are you there? Okay.
Yes, I am.
All right. So it's now 10:33. We are taking a break for our sponsor, VM, Victoria Mutual Building to Society. Natasha Service is with us. I said, Natasha here, it's just 10:33. So she looks quite fine for morning.
Only for you. Only for you. On a Saturday morning. Only for
Lord. But we appreciate you. You're in my corner, and I just want to thank you, Natasha, for being here. So I'd like to introduce you to the members of my team. That's Jackie, Brainbox Tyson right there. That's Maxine, Max Poet Lyons. Sharon's is... Yeah, Shernette and Jennifer are not with us this morning, but with us is my very good friend from childhood days, who is an attorney at law. He resides still a yard in Jamaica. And so he has joined us because of the topic we're having this morning about business partnership wranglings.
I heard some of it earlier.
Nice. And so you have kind of come in at a very good time, because VM is like what, over 100 years old now?
Over 144. And forgive me, I'm a little under the weather. So
wow.
That sounded so hot.
That's all right. Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, our representative and friend, Natasha Service. Stay with us. It's 10:35. Don't go anywhere.
I got a mortgage customized to fit me.
Same day pre-approval on my loan. Wow.
Lower mortgage payments, so I have money to do more of the things that matter.
Happiness is owning my own crib.
Take advantage of our same-day mortgage pre-approval plus customized financing of up to 100% and enjoy low monthly payments. Happiness is home. Own it with BMBS.
Welcome back. It's Saturday morning runnings right here on Inside the Zone with Lady D Denise Gomez. This morning, our guest is Natasha Service. Natasha, please go ahead, introduce yourself and tell them why you're here with us this morning.
All right. Well, Lady D, you have to tell me why she get me out of my bed so early in the morning. But hi everyone, viewing and listening.
How early?
Saturday morning runnings. My name is I'm Natasha Service, and I am the Chief Representative Officer. I represent the Victoria Mutual Group at our New York representative office. Office has been around for this November is going to be 5 years. We've been here for 5 years, serving the community, not just New York and the tri-state, but the entire US. I like to say the entire globe because we have been servicing customers and prospects right across the world. We assist persons who are interested in home ownership, purchasing land, commercial investment. We are also will also assist you with, if you have an account with us that you haven't serviced in a while, we'll also assist you in reactivating those dormant accounts. And if you're interested in starting an account with us for any particular reason, to purchase property just for saving, for a vacation, whatever reason you have, we can assist you with the paperwork as well from our New York office. We're located at 300 Cadman Plaza West, 1 Pierpoint Plaza, Brooklyn, aka downtown Brooklyn, right across from the Supreme Court, stone throw from the Brooklyn Bridge. Unfortunately, because of the office that we are located in, you can't just walk in, but we encourage you to call us and make an appointment to come and see us.
All righty. And how has it been going with the people here in the diaspora wanting to purchase property, purchase a house, leaving that legacy for children, etc.? Because we understand that there are people who may not want to go back to but certainly if they know they have an investment property, it can be passed down through in terms of generational wealth and so on.
Sure. That's a good comment, Lady D. We have a wide range of persons, members who pass through our office, and I have spoken to you on several occasions, and I tell you that this is one of the things that makes me feel good. It gives me that warmth in my heart because it's just about helping our people to achieve what some people thought was impossible. So many of our people, they come here, they work their backs off in all different type of weather, and they can only dream of owning property back home. Sorry.
That's all right. Weather change.
Yeah, and sorry, that's the allergy seasons. But we are here to tell you that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much you work. You don't have to have a lot of money in the bank. Let us try and help you to achieve that goal of home ownership. I'll tell you another thing, Lady D.
May I ask a question when you get a chance?
Of course.
A couple of questions. Okay.
A lot of the people that we serve in my office, they are CNAs, LPNs.
HHAs.
They range. Yes, they range from, yes, and those are the people who walk in and they never ever. I should let you bring on probably somebody who has actually bought property through us one of these days to tell their story. It is heartwarming, I'm telling you. It brings me a lot of joy to know that I have that opportunity to help somebody to achieve something that they never even thought was possible. And we give so many benefits to our members.
Mm-hmm.
You, as a Jamaican national, you can benefit from up to 90% financing from us, which means you only have to find 10% to deposit on the property. We usually, well, I personally usually ask that you put aside another 10% as a cushion for closing costs. You might have a little tips left over to help you with the first couple months payment, but at least have that as savings towards your closing costs. We also have a joint financing arrangement with the National Housing Trust as well. So, and I get to understand, a customer just sent me a clipping of the newspaper article last week that the NHD will be increasing the amount that you'll be able to benefit from. But for now, you can get your $6.5 million from the NHD at the rate up to 4% that the NHD would lend you at. And then we will lend you the difference. So for those persons who are listening and watching and you are not yet contributing to the NHT because you think it's not possible because you've never worked in Jamaica, that's a myth. Please call up the NHT and start the process. Once you've contributed for 24 months consecutively, you will be able to benefit from the NHT fund, and you'll be able to also join with Victoria Mutual to realize your dream of home ownership.
Great, great. Rick, go ahead and ask a question.
Thanks, Natasha. First thing is just to understand a little bit more about the VMBS overseas. Overseas, you don't really, you act more like as an agent for VMBS in Jamaica. Is that correct?
Right. So we're sorry, you go.
Yeah. I just wanted to get that clarification. In other words, you're not lending stateside. The lending comes from VMBS Jamaica.
It is, yes. So
okay.
Our company, so Victoria Mutual New York representative office is owned solely by the Victoria Mutual Group in Jamaica. We represent Victoria Mutual on the ground here in the States, right? So the money, everything we do is, as the name suggests, we represent Victoria Mutual here. So we do not have a license to assist persons in purchasing house in the US.
Okay.
That's not what we do. But what we can do from our office is actually help you with the qualification process. Not just that, we like to say that we help you from start to finish. So we help you with the pre-qual. Once you've identified the property, we hope through Victoria Mutual Property Services. I have to plug that. I'm sorry.
Of course.
That's fine.
Once you find the property through Victoria Mutual Property Services, then we actually write the loan for you from New York. So we have customers who we haven't even met face to face. The dialogue has just been via telephone and an email. And as I said, then we write the loan. The loan, of course, is approved by the team in Jamaica. And we made the process so seamless that all you have to do is to fly down and pick up your keys. So it is possible.
So do you have a list? Like, does Victoria Mutual here have a list of properties, inventory in Jamaica that people can actually look at?
Right. So that's a good question. That's a good question. So you can go to our subsidiary Victoria Mutual Property Services, or you can just go to our main website which is www.myvmgroup.com. select our SBU, Victoria Mutual Property Services, and there you'll find a list of properties that are currently on the market.
Okay. We do have a little bit of story of our own, Lady D, or one of our own viewers.
Yes, yes.
Had a really good testimonial one show that we had. And it was really heartwarming to know they went through Victoria Mutual and it was successful.
Yes, what happened? It's our good friend Ryan. So his brother went through your organization, and the brother never even see the property or nothing. But they love it. You had done a segment with me on radio, and he had made that.
Nice.
Yes.
Let me tell you, Lady D.
Natasha, early on we were talking about MSMEs, and I was mentioning that there's been a push in Jamaica to encourage the development of SMEs, and also where financing is concerned. And I mentioned
SMEs again.
SMSME, small and medium-sized enterprises.
Okay.
So the purpose is, you're not a Grace Kennedy, you're not a Wisinko, but you have a small business and you want to finance it and so on. There's been legislation in recent times geared towards that sort of thing, and I was wondering if you could speak a little bit about what Victoria Mutual, if you know what Victoria Mutual in Jamaica is doing with regard to that demographic.
Okay, good question. So just recently, and I'm not very good at figures anymore, years, because of my age, but just recently, I would say about 2 years ago, we started a company called Carilend. That's Carilend. And Carilend is a part of the Victoria Mutual Group. And the main purpose of that company is to help small businesses, small and medium-sized businesses. You know that Victoria Mutual, in general, we are known for home loans, home and property, right? So, but Carilend is a spin-off of the company per se. It's a new strategic business line that we just started, and we don't lend a lot of monies. I don't want to speak too much about Carilend because that is not my forte.
Right.
But I'll tell you that if anybody is interested in they have a small or medium business and they're looking for short-term financing, then they can reach out to us and we will direct them to Carilend. Robert Foster is the person who manages that division, and I can give you the number as well if you'd like.
That's excellent. That's good to know. And I think it probably came about because of that same push that I was telling you about to improve Jamaica's profile.
Right.
As a place to do business. Earlier on, you had said something about generational wealth, and I took that as a segue for me because of what my agency does. Okay. Now, I will mention two things that may not seem to be related, but they are in some aspect. The two things, and I don't know, any of you are in Florida?
Yes, Jackie.
Jackie,
yes,
you remember that it's been in the news recently between the governor of Florida and Disney?
Yes.
And I want to plug it as an example of what good lawyering can look like.
Okay.
in terms of, as you know, Disney. Long story short, Disney is almost like a country within itself, based on
Yeah.
the status that it has in Florida, and so on. And
Yes.
there's some disagreement with the governor, and the governor said that he was going to set up a board to take over the company. When the board
Yes.
went in, Disney had done a series of things that basically, when this new board comes in, the only thing they can do is fix the roads.
Oh.
And I think it's going to be challenged, but there's a very good example of good lawyering, and that is part of succession planning. In other words, they want to make sure that their business that they have established continues to operate in such a way without interference from a board of persons
From outside. Yeah.
correct. And so and that has to do with generational wealth and succession planning. The second one I want to mention is recently, it just came out the other day, about this football player that plays for Paris Saint-Germain in France. I don't know if anybody saw it. You've seen
Yes.
it?
Yes.
Where his wife filed for divorce, and when she filed for divorce, she found out he doesn't have anything. Everything is in his mother's name.
Mother's name.
The house, the accounts from beginning, and so on, which is in terms of how that operates, it probably might end up being even better than a prenup agreement.
Wow.
So I'm sure it will be challenged, and there are certain factors that may or may not make it stand, but the thinking behind it is understood. Preservation of generational wealth. Now, in Jamaica now, as the agency that I've worked with, we've introduced a new trust act. And this new trust act is, if you can call legislation state of the art. And the whole purpose around it was to allow people to create, maintain, and protect their generational wealth using trust structure. Now, one of the things that I would say about setting up a trust structure, you can prevent the beneficiaries from being spendthrifts. In other words, let us say you work your whole life for what you have, and you have children, you put the stuff in a trust, and you set up the trust in such a way that it will benefit them, but they can't name it out.
Amen.
Makes sense.
Which is what we
spendthrift, and
yes.
We are I'm mentioning that because the sustainability of a trust is very important. Schools like Woolmer's, Michael, Monroe, they were all set up by trusts a couple of 100 years ago in some cases. And that trust is still responsible for the way that for those schools. And by and large, when one look at it, those schools have been very efficiently run, for the most part. So that structure sets out what can and what cannot be done, who can do what, and there, and sets out the powers. Now, one last thing before, because I could speak about this thing for days and days and days because there's so many aspects of it. When I was in the BVI, I had a client who was a very wealthy lady in England, very, very wealthy lady in England. She had a lot of property, prime real estate in some of the most expensive areas in England, but she didn't have any children. She set up a trust for the benefit of her nephew. And before she passed away, she did certain things, put the property in the trust for the benefit of the nephew. And when she passed away, she didn't have to deal with things like estate taxes and that sort of thing. It just continued seamlessly. So, using a trust can help you to protect what assets you already have, can help you to create new assets, because part of it could be to invest with business or whatever, and from that to grow. And it gives it a clean look about it. I mean, nothing is absolute. I saw a couple months ago where Butch Stewart had set up a trust in Butch Stewart, the deceased owner of Sandal, set up a trust in Cayman for the benefit of his family. And there's some wranglings about that. But I'm suggesting to you that for the most part, the outcome of that is going to be decided by the documentation.
Right.
And so, you make the arrangements, you put the things in place, and at the end of the day, they look at it and say, is this what is this that what that says, and so on and so forth. So it goes back to the very beginning of what I was saying, is that when you're getting into business, it's always very good to have a writing.
Right. And I think one thing that our people, are not really known for is to, you mentioned generational wealth and passing things down to the other generation. We're not known to set up things before we leave this earth, and you speak about insurance, even in simple insurance. Or people don't really like to take out insurances because you're going to say, when you're going dead left this, I'm not going to benefit from it. But the thing is, your family, how about your family and your children? What do you leave on paper? A lot of us don't do that, don't leave things on paper. So it could be a somewhat seamless transition, from you leaving, dying, and, passing on, or even health, just simply your health and who manages your estate. A lot of us don't leave that direction. So,
and I think, Jackie, one of the things we have to ensure, and that is the onus is on us, those with the knowledge, to educate our people.
Correct.
We have to educate them that, listen, this is possible, and you need to do. I was just listening to Jackie talk a while ago, and even some of my family members, I will hear them say, "Oh, but me don't need insurance. If me dead, no must bury me."
All right.
Yeah. And I too remember when my dad passed, it was such a challenge for myself and my sisters because he had blown everything, So we just have to use the knowledge that we have to educate our people that, yes, you need insurance. The benefits of insurance, don't look at it as another bill. It's an investment.
That's right.
Exactly. Stuff like trust. As my friend was just saying a while ago, we need to talk about setting up trust.
Yes.
One of the good things that I see here is that we have those resources. I have a child with a disability, and the school that she goes to and the district that we live in, we constantly having these invited to these seminars where we have lawyers who some of their kids too have disability, and they actually do it for free, and they walk us through the process of setting up a trust for our kids. These are the things that we need to start teaching our kids. And not just that too, I strongly believe in, especially for those who are in the diaspora, to have our kids, even if they weren't born in Jamaica, to try and get them to invest in the country.
Yeah. I'm making a plug here because but what I'm doing, I'm seeing it as being beneficial to the country in years to come. And at some point in time, once we completed our mandate with the legislation, we will be approaching the diaspora to let them know what are some of the possibilities that are available in terms of setting up trust and generational wealth and doing business in Jamaica. And I look forward to doing that, within the next year and so on. And I think the diaspora has a large part to play where that is concerned. Now, in terms of our people not having a habit of, taking out insurance, looking about, I'm going to suggest that it's generational, much the same as my grandfather was a farmer. Through farming, he sent my mother to teachers college. She became a teacher. Myself, I became an attorney. My children are now in, one son is in university and my daughter is on her way to go into university. And so there's a trajectory. And with
Yes.
each generation, we learn things, add things, and try to break some cycles that were there before. Because if you think about it, coming out of the generation that was, you know, born at turn of the century, they weren't that far removed from slavery. And what did a slave have to look forward to? What generational wealth was a slave going to leave
True, because they weren't
for
even entitled
Yes.
to
for
own
his
it.
children? You know,
Right.
so that kind of,
Mm-hmm.
and you can only, God bless a person who can pass on more than what it is that they know or have
Right.
experienced.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
evolution has been such that I know that if I were to come face to face with my great great grandparents, the thought that one of their ancestors would, you know, go to university or be going to university or what, it would have been as far
Yeah.
away from their mind as east to west.
Absolutely, yeah.
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 So
Yeah. Yeah.
so yeah. So
Mhm.
and then when you add to that now, one of the things about talking about generational wealth and writing a will is coming face to face with your own mortality.
Mhm.
People are not comfortable with that.
Everybody
Yeah.
gonna live.
Yes,
People are
that's
not very
true.
comfortable with that.
Yeah.
We're all going to live forever.
Yeah, or even if we're not, they don't talk about it. But though we do live forever because, as I mentioned, my mother passed, but I see her in my daughter,
Mm-hmm.
and because of the fact that we are around, all of us who are on here, and everybody who's listening and reading, your ancestors are immortal. They have lived for this long through you. And if you think about it as, okay, well, I'm going to die, but what is your legacy? How are you going to live forever? How are you going to ensure your bloodline survives?
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the kind of conversation that we need to have with those persons, who may be hesitant about facing that aspect of their mortality.
Yes, yes.
About
And I
facing
find that, and Madam Natasha, how long will you be able to stay with us?
I might have to run at about 11:15. What time do you wrap?
11:30.
Oh, okay. I
Because
mean,
the
I'll hang on.
conversation, yeah, the
I love the
conversation is so good.
conversation. So
Yes,
let's
the
let's
conversation is so good.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I just wanted to say, Max, I know you wanted to say something before we got so intense. You remember
Yes,
your
and
thought?
we haven't heard from Max all morning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when Ricky, yes, Ricky had mentioned talking about people to business and not having just say, okay, you and I are going to start a business and there's no documentation. What I wanted to say is documentation beats conversation. And it doesn't matter how small the business is or little, where you're doing it, the location. When you put stuff in writing, you cannot, there's no way you can get into trouble because you always have that to stand up for you as a business partner. So it's always very important to document things. I'm one of those persons who like to write stuff down, date stuff, because when you can go back to what you document, then that can save you in whatever aspect of business that you are in. That's what I wanted to share.
Yes, and I also, people tend to think that, oh, it's only if you're leaving a wad of cash with me that I maybe need to write down something. But no, anything that is attached to value, you need to make record of. So somebody comes to me with
Absolutely.
a box of buns. I said, how many buns are in the box? No, them just asked me to drop it off. I'm like, no, you're not leaving me with this box of bun
Thank you.
until how much the bun them cost. He tells me. I said, so I say,
Yeah.
hi, open the box. Let the two of us count the bun them before you leave.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Because Denise not going to have to dig out
Yeah.
money now to make up for bun that she didn't get.
Okay.
So I quickly grab a little paper, a receipting I have. I say, and these buns are flavored buns. So they have mango and sorrel. I say, how much mango we have? How much
Yeah.
sorrel
You
we
want to
have?
be very precise.
No, I don't play. When people come to me
Yes, you have
with
to be.
Because you
anything,
don't want your name go call, eh?
no. So I said, fine, we agreed. We have a total of
No
18
wranglings.
buns. These are the flavors. And I said, now you can go.
Yeah. And the other thing to that, in some
Yes.
informal way, I counter it all the time. So if somebody, they're going to do something or say something, and you say, well, how much is it going to cost? And I'm saying, oh man, we work that out.
Mm-hmm.
One thing. The next thing, and you say, how much is going to cost? I'm saying, I'm not kill
Give
you.
me
But let
a
me tell you something. You see when them tell you something, I'm not kill
Don't
you.
die.
Okay.
Prepare to die.
Prepare to die. No.
Expect the
yes,
same. Yeah, and so
yes.
it's just this week I had a conversation.
That's
I
true.
had a conversation with a young woman. She has been, advertising her business. She will do your laundry for you, stuff and stuff. Nice girl, clean girl. Me get it. I said, all right, I can tell anybody I come to foreign, I do not like going to the laundromat. That is not a thing for me. If I
Yes, she
go,
said that
I
all the
grumble.
time.
If I have to go, I grumble. And the poor clothes must say, why are you here, Denise? But I go and do it. So for a long time, I don't do that. So the person I had, they folded that business because they say it's not working out. So here she come now. I'm like, great. I said to her, I'm accustomed to being told how much per pound.
Right.
She said, Lady D, me know you. Me not kill you. See, black where Ricky. Me say, me know that. But you cannot start off your business on that. Anyway,
No,
me
yes,
say, you know what, Denise, you need the
numbers.
clothes to wash. I give her. Now I bag them in small bags and I sort them out already, my whites and things, right? So to me, I saw a little light bag. So after she did the laundry and she come to drop off, me say, how much? No. So yes, I picked them up. I was close to her. I picked them up. So me say, how much? When she tell me, me nearly drop. Now note. So it's so I can say realistically it's not bad. But when you're not factoring that number in your head, me say what? She said, Lord, you're
Yes.
gonna make me feel bad now.
Bad.
Let me kill you. So here we go. Right? So me say, all right, Denise, because she provided the soap and blah blah. Me say, Denise, don't go there. She washed the clothes already. But the point is, so after we come home with them, smell good. One of the blouse me wear, me don't even need that for iron. So you know how that go, right? Nicely done. But I had a conversation the following day. I said, listen, here is what you need to do. This happened with you and I have paid you, and I will continue using you. But if I'm going to be recommending people to you, you cannot be saying to them that you will tell them after you do the work.
No.
You need to determine,
No,
get
tell
a
before.
scale. I say, what is your rate? She tell me. Me say, fine. It's within the market. That's good. I say, you need to get a scale, one of those scales that are a regular weight scale now. One of the scales that they use that they can weigh. So when you go
Yeah,
to
you
your
have
client,
you have some handheld one. My mother just bought one. It's downstairs. Some handheld. You just hook it onto whatever, and it's accurate.
I said, get
Yeah.
a scale. When you go to your clients, you weigh before, and then you do your calculation. You send them the invoice. Do not get into no tiff with nobody about how much, because truthfully, no, when she really washed them and sort them and come back to me, we could have hardly lift up one of the bag. But I guess it's because of how she had sorted and
Packed it.
told them. But truthfully, them never light after all. right?
Mhm.
So I encouraged her. So these are some of the things that as we go into business, even for yourself, you have
Yes.
to figure out how this is going to work now.
Right.
What is my offer?
Right.
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 May I
Yeah.
also say something in my little business that I do, my baking business.
This is not little. Stop saying that.
All right.
A business.
It's in my business that I do. All right.
Mhm.
Just last week, a gentleman called me and he ordered a pudding. All right. I always bake for him, and I was waiting for. Usually, you call me if it's somebody I'm used to, like you, lady, or anybody who calls me. I just get the ingredients and put the stuff together and have it waiting for you, nicely wrapped and sitting waiting for you if you're going to come and pick it up or if I'm going to drop it off. All right, his thing was that he was going to come and pick it up. I am still waiting today.
Oh dear.
Oh no.
And the wrong thing that I did, I did not
Take
tell
that
him to send
deposit.
the money.
Yeah.
I did not. Right. So from that experience, I keep thinking when you're ordering something from Amazon, whether you know it's going to fit you, yes or no, you have to pay them in
Of
advance,
course.
right? And it's going to come. My stuff are guaranteed. When
Mhm.
you order it, if I can't do it, I'm telling you immediately, I can't do that. I'm not able to send it to you by that time, whatever. I work it out, so I know you're gonna get it on time or not. I
Right.
keep up with who is shipping faster, whether UPS is going faster or the post office is going faster. There was a period when it was UPS, and now I think the post office is going faster. This one, I didn't even have to ship it, but the fact is, I did not take the payment, and I guess his conscience was bothering him. He called me, sent me a message and saying that he was unable to pick up, so he was going to come, and he still has not come. And that item I have to discard.
Right.
So
With the right amount of rum and raisin ice cream, and it could have been dealt with,
and let me tell you something. He wanted a lot of raisins in there, and I put a lot of raisins. I don't usually put raisins in my puddings, but he wanted a lot of raisins. I put a lot of raisins in there. What I did, the one I had an extra one, and it's in the fridge, and it's not gonna go bad because of how it's made, and I put it in the fridge, so it's there. But I'm just saying, even if it's a friend or somebody you can trust, it's business. You think
business
you can
is
trust.
business.
It's business.
Yeah.
And one mistake that I made, I lost because I did not get paid. I did not get paid for the item, and and I may have to throw that out. But business is business.
Really unfair. I have this thing that I usually tell people who come into my office and they're doubtful about if they're able to qualify on their own, and if they probably looking at joining with a family member, a spouse, or somebody they're in a relationship with. And I always say to them, listen, you see this thing, this business, it's like a marriage. It is easy to get into and it's very hard to get out of. So you really want to be careful, and it's going to be costly to get out of it. So you want to be careful of what you're doing when you
Yeah,
get
and part
entangled with
of being
people.
careful about what you're doing is documenting stuff, documenting the relationship, documenting who is doing what. So, for example, if one person, as I mentioned before, one person is coming up with the money to buy the thing, then you document that. If you have a formal incorporated business and the person is going to inject capital in there or stock or whatever, you want to make note of that as well separately, so that the business, they will know that this is a liability of the business towards the shareholder or the partner or whomever. Because I know that in the past, again, when people wanted to get into some kind of business deal, they would go to a third party, usually a JP, and discuss what it is that they want to do and so on and so forth. But again, the JP might even predecease them.
Right.
No, that's no lie. That's true.
Yeah. So when you put it in writing, it's there. It will survive everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then no, sometimes even I mean I've seen the gamut of things, the gamut
I'm
including
sure.
the two principals have died and they have children, and the children know they're not sure of what the relationship is, and it can cause bad blood or whatever it is. But if you have all of that set out, then when you approach, it's just a matter of seeing what it says and so on. And
Mm-hmm.
it is. I'm not saying that it will solve all your problems, because people are just litigious and troublesome or whatever, but it give them less of a scope to be that way, and there's a more of a likelihood that if they've memorialized what their intentions are, that those intentions will be followed through,
Mm-hmm.
even in the event of their demise. So
Mhm.
write it down, and
Because
then
if
not just write it down, but people have to know where they can find it.
and
Yeah.
As well.
again, most of us were raised in rural Jamaica and even across Jamaica. If you went to your shopkeeper, if I go up to Miss Phyllis or down to Miss Inez and Penny, if it's a note that you're sent with to say, Mama say you can give me 3 pound of flour and big chiller oil and whatnot, they would write it down because you went with the list because you don't have no money.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
they are recording
Yeah,
what you
man.
took.
Right.
And over time, if you continue to send
And the
and there is
dates and
nothing
the amount.
forthcoming, they're going to,
Yeah.
send a note back to say, give mama this or give papa this or
Right.
whoever to remind you that something. Because sometimes you go into arrangements with people, you can say, if it's a good friend or whatever, you're asking for a loan, can you give me until X? If you see,
Mhm.
because the same way you go penny tent and and I beg the money, it's the same way you should operate. If you realize that the time is catching you and you can't pay it, say something.
Yeah.
Not just leave the people them hanging, wondering, is this ever going to
Yes.
come?
Mm.
Say something.
Tis
Give,
true.
give me a little time, and those things can break relationships.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, as we are in this whole
Absolutely.
business wranglings
Yes.
arrangement,
Yeah.
it's both professional and personal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lady D, and if
And
I might add, what I noticed too
Yes.
in my line of business is that a lot of persons overseas who are buying property back home, they want to skip the process of hiring an attorney back home to see to the transaction and this is something that we totally do not want to see happen. I know it is an additional cost, but it is in your best interest to have somebody on the ground who has your back. You're paying this person to have your back, to look out for your best interests, you
Mhm.
know. And what I've seen a lot in the last 5 years since I've been sitting in this seat is that persons will not hire an attorney, and when after we've disbursed the loan they have an issue with the property, or it rained really hard over the weekend and water was coming through this window or whatever. I'm sorry, we can't help you. I'm not an attorney. I
Mhm.
did the financing of your loan. That is why I encouraged you to have an attorney,
Mhm.
because your letter of possession, when you get your letter of possession, usually within the contract there is a time frame within which the vendor has to make any corrections to the property,
Right.
and you are now have to go engage this person in conversation to try and get them to do right by you, while if you had an attorney, your attorney would have handled that on your behalf, so
Mm-hmm.
you can be penny pinching as well, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it's a prevention and cure thing. I mean, over the course of my career, when I was in private practice, when when they're doing the deed, they choose not to. When it goes sideways, then they come to an attorney, at which point in time now, there is so little to go on that you have to unravel it. And, you know, it can get tricky, and then everybody gonna get bad name. The lawyer don't know what them doing, this and that, and so
The
on and so
mortgage
forth.
company in bed
Yeah,
with the
them thief
developers.
and so on and so forth.
Yes.
Where it's if you're going to make a significant investment, it behooves you to get professional advice, and it's not necessarily a plug for lawyers.
No, it's
but
not. I'm with you there.
It's the truth. If look here, me, I'm not a plumber.
He writes. Right, you're Rick.
If things need plumbing, I call a plumber. Yeah. I'm not one of those people that interested in being a jack of all trades. For two reasons. One, there's just so many things to do, you probably would never leave your other. That's one. But two, I consider it to be a part of commerce. If I am doing everything for myself, or trying to do everything for myself, service my car, do my plumbing, do my painting and whatever, it sounds good, but in a way I'm boxing food out of other people's mouth as well.
That's right. Yes. Absolutely. Same song.
And as a reminder, the other day, I think it was Holy Thursday, my sink was clogged and I decided I was going to try to do it to see what was wrong. And to make a long story short, I have a little scar in my fire right here. and I ended up having to call the plumber, and the first thing the plumber come, he said, Mr. Davis, what you do for a living? And I said, what you mean? He said, are you a plumber, sir?
Oh Lord.
And I said, well, Mr. Willie, no, I'm not. He said, well, don't do plumbing work, sir.
And you're calling that.
That's not your forte.
Yeah, but fun and joke aside, I think that certain things, if we're going to do, we need to make sure that we do them properly.
That's right. Yes.
We should also, I was jotting down a few things while it so happened that when Lady D put out the promo, sometimes certain things just pop onto your screen and so on. And it was something to do with business. And one of the things that I read in this little article, it says that the quality of a person's life is most often a reflection of the expectations of their peers. And it applies to business as well. So in other words, you should be careful of who your business partners are.
Yes.
Looking into that before you even take the step. Even if the person is your friend, if they're shady, then you don't want to go into business with a shady friend, a shady person, so-called friend. You know, if the person kind of always under the table thing, you don't want to go into business with somebody like that. So
no, very, very, very true. Very true. Because even right now, as a part of the process that Jamaica is going through with Financial Action Task Force on a different level, is beneficial ownership information. To know who owns what. To know that you're not getting into business with the Don down at Waterlane or the Don down at Waterlane cousin, or somebody is fronting for them, and that sort of thing. So you're absolutely right. That is a very important thing that I didn't mention before. That is worth mentioning. Who you get into business with.
Yes. And I might add. Go ahead, Jackie.
That's informative. I didn't even know that they had a task force like that. So there you go. That's great.
Yeah,
that's great information.
It's a global one. It's called FATF, Financial Action Task Force, and there is a There's a
Caribbean
regional
also.
one, a Caribbean
Right,
one called
Caribbean
the Caribbean
accent.
Financial.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Well,
task
it's
force.
so this information is really good, and I know our audience, they are listening and making notes. But I know growing up in Clarendon, people who had migrated, whether to England, Canada, the US, wherever, they thought of building a home in Jamaica. And so they trusted family members or friends, and they would send the money home to
Hallelujah.
start to build this thing, to build somewhere, right? And fine. Even if there was property that they owned, now they're going to start the structure. They send money, send money, send money. And people would be saying, send me one picture, no man, let me see how the thing go, how the building go up. And there was always a reason why the picture not come. Until in a lot of these instances is people who can't go back. They can't travel, go down, go see it for themselves. So they trust you to do it. Until you get wind that, hey, we only see this thing go up with the block them, it not have on a roof. You only see the steel sticking up and tree are grow up in there. But money still coming. Money is still being sent to build this house.
Lady
So
D.
what you do with that now after you have given? So again, they said, stop sending the money. Get an attorney. Do the thing the right way. You're just sending your money blindly to start a house when no paper, no draft up, nothing is done.
Yeah.
What you do with that now? And then you hear somebody get bumped off.
Look here.
Yes.
This is what I heard. Well, at that point, the most you can do is show the receipts or the evidence that you send the money. Now, the relationship that you have with the person is also important, because if you're sending that money to your wife, it will be looked at different as if you were sending it to your brother or a friend or something like that. Lady D, I heard that, you remember they call him Madran. Remember Madran from Penance?
Yeah.
I understand that is something like that, and him work and send him money to buy property and everything like that. And when he came, there was nothing.
Nothing.
And at that point in time, him can't go back to England. He's just spent 20 years working as a garbage collector to save up to send that year. So at that point in time, what are you going to do? You know,
and it caused him to have a mental breakdown.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
And I know of cases where people send their money down to them wife or husband, in one case, send them money to buy the house, and them get the picture. Master the picture, them get the picture.
Somebody else's property. The house next door.
No. The money buy the property, but the property is not in their name.
In their name. Yeah, listen, let me tell you something, Connie. I could write a book. About the stories that I've heard.
Yeah, man.
Since I've started working with Victoria Mutual New York.
Jeez, I can't imagine.
I could write some literally have left me in tears.
Yeah, man.
We just have to be very careful.
Careful.
And I know it sounds like I'm putting in a plug for my company, but it's a truth.
Nothing wrong with that still,
Exactly. You're offering good service. I'm so glad when Lady D told me about this service, then I could pass this information on to somebody who just went through he cannot even explain to you the person work, go out in a snow, drop down, bash up them foot, send money to Jamaica, build house, and when the person got to Jamaica, the person could not walk in that house. The house was built, but the person is built the house for herself.
I know that our Victoria Mutual Property Services, they had kind of stepped away from project management for residential properties for a while. My understanding is that we're looking to go back into that business, which would which would be very good, for, especially for our members in the diaspora who need
Correct.
that support. You know, you
Underground, the
need
support
to know.
underground, yes.
Yes, and if you
Hmm.
think, even if you're thinking of building, and you probably you have the money, can do it out of pocket, you probably also want to think about putting aside that money and borrowing the money from us to assist with building that property, that residence. Reason being, we don't, after you've gotten approval to start the residence. We don't just, if you got qualified for 25 million, because that's what it's going to take to make the property, the residence habitable. We don't just give you the 25 million and say, go tata, you start paying
Mhm.
next month after. We give you those monies in increment, because this is our investment as well, you
Mhm.
know. So we'll give you the first like $10 million, then we give you a specific time frame by which you have to spend that money, say
Mm.
6 months, 8 months. Then you have to come back with an updated bill of quantities in addition to pictures to show
That's
that the
right.
work was done and the money was spent. So no
That's right.
contractor can ramp. You
Mm.
understand? With
Mm-hmm.
the people, with
Yes.
the people, their money. You
Mhm.
Yeah, the
understand?
Right.
QS certificate, yeah.
Exactly. And then once we get that, then we will release probably another $10 million. So it goes all the way down until
Mm-hmm.
you are ready to open your door and enter your property. So
Mhm.
your contractor, even though you're going to do your due diligence to make sure that you get somebody who's going to protect that money, but they can't play with the money. And Victoria
Mhm.
Mutual as well, in that
Good.
case, when you're doing construction, we will send our project team out to
Mhm.
look to make sure that the
To
work
make
is
sure.
done,
That's
and it's
awesome. That's awesome.
not just being done, but it is being done well. So you're not
Right.
getting
Good.
tardy work. And
That's
because
awesome.
remember, as well as I said before, this is our investment.
Yes.
This property, it doesn't belong to
And
you
your
until it is
reputation, the
done.
company's reputation
Exactly.
too.
Exactly. So,
Yes.
so think about it. Think about it,
Are there any
people.
penalties for early pay? You mentioned a situation
There's
if
no
you
penalty.
for early payment. So,
There is no
Okay.
penalty.
again, one can be strategic. You take out the loan, you have the money, but you take out the loan so you
Mhm.
can get these services and it's all taken care of. And
Yes.
then you probably make accelerated payments.
There is no penalty. We do, however,
Yeah.
ask that if you're doing, if you want to make early redemption, you want to make early payments to the loan or lump sum payments to the principal per se, you want
Mm-hmm.
to give us, and it's over $1 million. I'm sure that will go up soon because $1 million is not in Jamaica right now.
Mhm.
But you need to give us at least 3 months notice in writing. That's all we ask from you. There's no penalty. Just write us before 90 days and say, listen, I want to drop $5 million on my mortgage. We charge you no penalty.
Okay, that's good. That's good to know, and that's a good service to
I
have
know
as
the
well.
time is we went over the
Yes.
time, but it's so the
Yes.
conversation is so juicy and and informative, you know.
Yeah,
And
Yes.
I don't even
Yes.
want to start because this is we haven't even scratched the surface
right.
of
That's
this
true.
The
conversation
lady D
yet.
can probably have us come back.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Absolutely.
Of course. But that's what I'm saying.
Yes,
We
this
could
sounds
not
like a
have
part
this.
two.
Yeah, we couldn't do this topic and just talk blindly. We
Mhm.
needed,
No,
we
no.
needed your expertise to carry this information forward. And Ryan, this is Ryan. He's saying yes. I can say yes. Yes, VM is good. I can say yes. All
Mhm.
right. Yes, and Rick, a young woman I know, we go to the same church. Janet, she's on, so she was just asking if she can get the attorney's information.
Okay. Yeah, you can share it with her. As I said before, because of the position I currently hold, I'm not in private practice, but I'm happy, more than happy to speak with her and maybe to refer to somebody who I
Right.
have confidence in that can assist her.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to wrap up. Any final comments, ladies and gentlemen?
Well, sometimes it's a little hard. I think sometimes a little hard to recognize or to even admit that you're in a bad business. But this is where the lawyer comes in, or a friend who you think has a little more insight. You speak to them and see if you're on the right track, because maybe you're not in a good business partnership with someone, and it's time for you to reevaluate that situation and probably move on before you invest further money into this tailing business, or something that the other person is sneaking the money from out of the kitty. Just be careful of these things and keep these things in mind. It's good to speak to someone.
And something, I recall a situation that I know of personally where here is a married couple, they're business partners, but when you trust each other, one started to do some stuff with the money, and it turned out so badly.
Or
So
one get jealous of the
badly.
other.
And that wasn't even jealousy. The thing was just so extreme. It was so extreme, imprisonment, that kind of thing.
Oh my
Yes.
goodness.
So, you can have a business and you take up the checkbook and you write, and the other one not paying attention to say, hey, let's huddle together and see how the finance is going. You just go on.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Go ahead, Matt.
another thing, a lot of times in business, a lot of times in business, one making the financial contribution while the other one is carrying the skills. Is the one who's making the final contribution, not contributing to the skill part, and the skill person is thinking, okay, I'm doing all the work. What are you doing? That a lot of ramifications. That's what I end up seeing happen. So it's always going both parties are balanced in terms of what the business is about. You both should be able to do a good haircut. It's a restaurant, you both think physical contribute other than just financial contribution, because that can cause a lot of issues. So
yeah,
but I also think that even if this say, all right, say I'm not strong at finances, but you are, you can come to a mutual agreement.
Yes.
But the information is going to be shared. I am good at my hands. I'm good at doing this. I'm good at fixing. So you deal with the money and I deal with the fixing. You might not be able to fix the light bulb. You might put in the light bulb and it drop out. But the other person may put in light bulb and it stay forever. So you can come to that mutual agreement. I'll deal with this. But the thing is, when we get together in a huddle or each day we share what is being done with each other.
Put it in writing.
Put it in writing.
Right. We get it. Right. Put it in writing.
Documentation beats conversation. Yeah.
Yes.
And okay, so we're wrapping up now, but I'd like to thank everyone, and to Rick, thank you so much, Ricky. And the Wi-Fi was the bomb today.
Yes, it's good to make it true. Before I leave, I'd mentioned it earlier on, and I think VMBS might be involved in it too, Natasha. On the end of this month, from I think the 26th to the 30th or 29th. I don't have my calendar. 1 second, let me look at the calendar real quickly. So to be from the 27th to the 30th, Jamaica Manufacturer and Exporters Association will be having their expo at the National Arena. It's a pity I didn't get to say it sometime before, but there will be buyers and sellers from all over the place, from Jamaica, from overseas. At last count, they had something like 400 and something exhibitors with different products, different services, and so on that will be there. So for anybody who will be in Jamaica at the time or whatever, want to send somebody to check it out, it'll be worthwhile, and perhaps even to bear in mind for the next time you mention your cakes and your puddings, you may very well find that there's a market within the diaspora outside of that as well. So yeah, that's something I want to mention. But Lady D, thanks for the invitation. I'm always happy to assist in any way I can. You know that.
Thank you so much, Ricky.
It's a beautiful
great,
morning.
great information. Great information.
See, Lady D exploited me. She knows that I was she was my first crush in life. And she can get to with anything.
Other things, Ricky.
There you go. Absolutely. Yes. So we have to cash in, you know. And to Natasha, oh Lord, Natasha, you come.
Thank you, Natasha.
You can make it work for morning. I don't know.
Thank you, Jackie, Maxine, Ricky.
I know when I start working again, I'll be calling you first thing.
Listen, we have people who have businesses who get loans from us, small businesses too. So listen, if you see something, run with it. All right. Thank you, Lady D. Thank you
All
so
right.
much. It was a nice morning.
Natasha, a friend sent me a note here. She says, good morning, Lady D. Very interesting topic. Please, can you text me the number and address for Victoria Mutual for my brother interested in buying a house? All right.
Okay. So, Lady D, you have that there? Or you want me? Yeah.
I have it. I have the 347 number, correct?
347-344-5790. Yes.
Yes. I've been running it in this
yes, I see it. Yeah.
Here, the ticker. Yeah. But it has been a pleasure having you this morning. So you see,
thank you.
I guess the morning flow has to do with the people.
It does. We feel like we just had the second cup of coffee. Yes, thank you.
All right.
But thanks to everyone for tuning in this morning. And we're looking forward to being back next Saturday morning to do it all over again. Of course, you'll see the promo and say, all right, we need to come over. Yeah, so on a Saturday morning. And Max, where are you?
Maxine.
Max gotta have our cup of coffee.
Max check on our ackee and saltfish.
But before we go, Jackie, go ahead quickly.
Oh, the pudding pan, the cake still a bake. Pudding still a make. Call 917-533-2380 or puddingpantop@gmail.com.
Nice. And for yours truly, Lady D, Denise Gomez, as always, I am a producer and presenter of Inside the Zone, the twice weekly program, aired 5 to 7 on a Monday and 6 to 8 on a Thursday on Linkage Radio in Mount Vernon. I'm also an MC, a voiceover specialist, audiobooks, radio, and TV commercials. And if you want me to be the producer of your production, that's my forte. And call me. I sound like Miss Cleo. Call me. Call me. 914. Yes, 914-304-2592. It has been a great morning. We feel good.
Yes.
We feel good. So now come and you enjoyed it. So thanks so much to everyone. As always, enjoy the rest of the weekend. See you next week. We're gone.
Take care.
Ta-ta.
Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Lady D Denise Gomez, and I have exciting interview segments and features inside the zone. For recording artists, you can sing. Well, Inside the Zone, second Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. is for you. Writers, share your story, no man, in From the Author Zone on third Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. Mail Zone has unbelievably juicy stories of love, heartbreak, and triumph. 7 p.m. has never been this good. On Mondays, it's news, talk, engaging features at 7 in the Monday Drive. And Center Stage has everyone talking on Thursdays. Be a part of the show. Email me insidethezone@gmail.com or call me 914-304-2592.
I got a mortgage customized to fit me.
Same day pre-approval on my loan. Wow!
Lower mortgage payments, so I have money to do more of the things that matter.
Happiness is owning my own crib.
Take advantage of our same-day mortgage pre-approval plus customized financing of up to 100% and enjoy low monthly payments. Happiness is home. Own it with BMBS.